Hello and welcome to Kedrick Farms. We're back with another episode of Royalton, Minnesota, and today we've got a lot of miscellaneous jobs that we're going to finish up. First off, we've got course play set up here with our potatoes, and we're actually using a course play overload course with the truck to unload the potato harvester, and so I think we've got this pretty dialed in. We used auto drive to unload on the other field of potatoes, and had a little bit of problems with that, not a lot, but I thought we'd just try and use the course play overload mode because this is a pretty small field, and I think this is working out for us at this point. It takes a while to fill up this potato harvester, and so while that's going, we've got two other jobs we want to do today. First, we're going to need to pick up a tedder, because it turns out that alfalfa is not going to dry out the same way that grass dries in seasons. And so we have to actually ted this to turn it into dry alfalfa hay. And so we're going to pick something up to do that today and then get all of that grass picked up. And then we're also going to start moving our potatoes from the storage here in the back of our farm. It turns out there's potato storage up by the sell point, and since we don't want to have to be moving a lot of our crops during the winter when there's potentially going to be snow, I want to go ahead and get the bulk of our potatoes moved over to the storage by the sell point now, so that when we're ready to start washing and selling those potatoes, it's all right in that little area. And so I've got this truck all filled up here and ready to take up to the storage point. And we had been working on setting up some auto drive courses here, but we kind of made a mess of it. And so I'm going to clean up a few of these points right here. And then we're going to go and kind of drive along here and get to the points where we made a mess and try and clean those up just a little bit. And it's stuff like this where we had a good path and then we've got just the wrong layout of points here. So I think the bulk of this path is actually in a pretty good state, but we're going to drive along this manually and look for the opportunities to improve our pathing a little bit. We took a couple of wrong turns originally as we were creating this path, and so I just want to make sure that we iron out all of those kinds of issues. And I'm also going to do a few things where I just straighten out the path a little bit to avoid future collisions as we go along. And it looks like we're all unloaded there. The truck must have gone up and unloaded already, so things are moving with that potato harvester, so that is good to see. I'm always impressed to see when course play or auto drive, etc., just kind of works. It's always frustrating when you have to sit there and fight with things, but lately on this series at least, I feel like things have been going pretty well, and we're just widening out some of these turns to hopefully prevent us from getting into the ditch. Now, we are going to just drive into town here real quick and kind of enjoy the scenery. We haven't taken a lot of trips around this map, although I think we've probably gone down this road at least once. But I don't think we've been up to the potato storage and sell point here, so let's jump on up towards the town, and I'll kind of show off some of these different roads that we're going to have to go down to get to our potato sell point. Alright, so we're coming up here on the edge of town, and normally we drive straight through up to those lights because most of the stuff is on the main road there. But the potato sell point, it turns out, is down one of these side paths, and so we need to go ahead and record a path that's going to take us over that way. And so I want to kind of get something going here. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of going that far off on the grass, but this tree is making my life a little difficult. We're going to just kind of bring these points around a little bit here and straighten them up behind us. There we go. A little wiggly, but that's okay. It'll just make us slow down a little bit, I think. And so we haven't actually kind of driven through the back part of this town. That's an interesting swerve there on the incoming traffic. As you can see, we had some painful driving experiences on the way back with that course. But the potato sell point, turns out, is kind of back here off of the main road a bit, and the only way in or out of it is actually on this back road here. And so I'm going to, at this point, stop recording because you can see where our other course is caught up with us here. And I'm going to reclaim some of these points. And then at some, I guess we should probably also get rid of this other path that's in the way here, just for efficiency's sake. So all of these points can go away. And that'll be a much cleaner auto drive course here for us. And then if we just continue to follow this down the road here, I believe our potato sell point is right up here on the right hand side of the road in this little group of trees. And you can see here we're making the decision to come in to the second driveway here because we have 4 different storage points here. Storage 1, we have storage 2, storage 3, and storage 4, and then we've got 2 sell points. I think these are probably the same sell point, and so I've just gone ahead and put a point here for the potato sell point, and we're gonna pull this up here a bit so that we pull past the trigger and get an unload. And so with these storage points set up like this, we're going to be able to leverage auto drive to come into here, and we can actually, I believe, test it out. We're going to be loading back at the storage at home, which I have the point set as potato load, and then here we've got the potato storage 1, which I've already dumped 1 truckload into, and so this should dump the rest of these into this point, and then this truck should go back up to the farm and grab another load of potatoes and just keep hauling them here until we get all of the potatoes up here into this storage, which will make our lives a little bit easier. As we get closer to winter, we'll put a potato washer down in this yard somewhere, and then it'll be really easy to set something up to allow us to take the potatoes out of the storage and bring them to the washer and then to the sell point. We are going to stop this truck ever so slightly and fix this auto drive course while we're here. It looks like we were just a little bit too close to this building. And so we want to definitely make sure we're turning fast enough and far enough that we don't crash into any buildings. Something like that should work. Let's back up here a little ways and get on the course and see what happens now. We're going to oversteer a little bit and come back in to hopefully straighten us out a bit here. Like that. Perfect. Perfect. A little bit tight, but we didn't run into anything, so I'm going to say let's go for it. And the true test will be to see if this guy manages to find his way back up to the farm. And so we're going to go ahead and jump back down here and check on this setup. It looks like our truck has got some potatoes in it, which is always a good sign. And if we just come in here, we need to turn off the debug mode for auto drive to get rid of our annoying lines. And if we jump up here, it looks like the potato harvester is chugging right along, no problems whatsoever. And so while this is a super slow job, it's also one that has been pretty easy to automate, it looks like. He's doing a pretty good job. So we're going to let him keep going there. And we're going to start working on this alfalfa, because I think that's a job that's going to take just a little bit of work to take care of here. Well, it looks like our potato truck just came roaring back through the yard here. We're getting the 6410 cleaned up a little bit here so that we can use it to do our tedding. Haven't had an opportunity to put this out in the field in a little bit here, and so we're just going to take this back here and double check that this guy's actually going to be able to get a load of potatoes on his own. Sometimes with these courses, when you set them up, they don't always work how you expect until you let them run one on their own, but it looks like he's good to go. He's filling up here, off to haul these up to the storage. Kind of curious how long it takes him to make a round here. It is quite a long way to get up to town, so we're definitely happy to be able to automate a little bit of jobs like that sometimes. Now, I didn't have much in the way of tedders installed because I normally run seasons, and haven't really had to do this in a while because I'm usually just pretty paying attention to what the weather's going to do and making sure that the grass can dry out on its own. But this should work. We're also probably going to have to pick up a windrower after we make a mess of all of this so that we can get it picked back up with our forage pickup here pretty easy. But in the meantime, this does look like it's going to work. That is changing our alfalfa into hay here. And so we're going to just tackle this. It looks like I can go a little bit faster than our cruise control was set at. And it looks like I drove a little bit crooked down here, so I think we're going to stay on the straight line here, make sure that we get these 2 rows, and then I'll circle back around and pick up that little bit on the edge here in a second. Alright, we're just going to whip right around here and follow this back up this edge row real quick. We'll pick up the rest of this when we ted, or when we rake it all up with the windrower here, but I just want to make sure we don't forget about this, so we're going to do it now. Now, I think I could have probably picked up 3 rows at a time here, but I'm opting to just do the 2 because when I'm on the outside edge of the field, it looks like I was driving a little bit more crooked here, and so I think all the rows on the middle part of the field here are going to be perfectly lined up from using GPS, and so we're going to just take these headlands off first, and then we'll try to be a little bit more efficient with this tedding. And we've got a little bit of grass mixed in here on the edges too. I'm hoping that doesn't cause us any grief when we go to pick this all up. I know sometimes you can get into a situation where you pick up different types of materials and it causes problems. Now, what I'd like to do here is actually get GPS set up, I think, and see if we can set up a track that's going to optimize how we approach this grass. I'm okay if I end up missing a little bit on my right, as long as we can line back up and get it the next time. And so we're just going to get a nice AB line going here. And we'll see how this works out. At least with the lines on here, I can make sure that I'm not missing any on my left, and then we'll see what this looks like when I turn around. I'm hoping that it'll be just right to get both of those next 2 lines over there. I'm just not sure. We'll find out. And it looks like our truck's coming back from delivering a load of potatoes up to the storage in town. And so he's just trucking through the yard there, which is encouraging. And here, I'm not quite getting as much as I'd like to have out of this next path over here, but it is working, and so I think we're just going to leverage the GPS here. I'd probably, in reality, just drive between the 2 rows, but with the way this is spreading out, we're going to have to hit it all with a windrower anyway, so I think we'll maybe make a fine-tune adjustment here on the next pass, just to be a little bit more realistic, I guess I would either straddle a row or go in between them. And since this thing is just not quite wide enough for straddling a row, well, it lifts up so slow too. I guess realistically I'd probably tackle 2 rows at a time, something like this, and just drive down the middle in between them. So let me see if I can find a good way to do that. Somewhere around there I think is going to work out. And there goes that truck full of potatoes already. And so we've definitely got a good system going to get those potatoes moved up to town, which is good. And over here, it looks like we've got a good system. The potato harvester seems to be moving pretty reliably, and we've got that truck out there in the field for unloading. Haven't had any issues or had to intervene with that in a little while, so that is encouraging. And I just moved grass all over the gravel there, so the fact that this thing doesn't lift up super fast is a little bit of a concern, but we'll get there. We've only got, what, 1, 2, 3 or 4 more passes left here, I think. A couple rounds. And we can see here the truck is coming up to unload that harvester. I think. Where is he going? He looks like he got a little bit confused here. This might turn into a problem. Oh, no. He's gonna wait for his chance to turn around and come in behind the harvester, it looks like. And here we've just got one pass down and back, and then we're gonna have to go ahead and pick up a windrower here. Some kind of a rake. And so if we just take a quick look here, this is 8.7 meter. I think there's a pretty good 8 meter US style, 8.5 meter. We'll probably pick up this one. A bigger one would make our lives easier, but I think we're going to go with this one. I'm just going to lease it like I'm doing with the tedder here, because we might find a little bit of a better suited mod for ourselves at some point here. But for the time being, a couple of quick leases are going to be a little bit better for us, I think, because I'm hoping that this alfalfa is going to last us for a little while. I'm hoping that this will get us through at a minimum the next year, if not a little bit farther, with the silage that we've got in the silos, and we'll be making a full-on TMR here, so this will just be one component of a broader mix, so it should last for a little while. We'll find out though. But it looks like this potato field's getting to, you know, maybe half done here if you count the headlands, and so that's some pretty good progress, and we haven't had to really monkey with it too much, so it's slow and steady wins the race there. And on this front, we've got this job done, so I'm going to go ahead and take this up into the yard, and we'll get switched over to the rake here. Alright, we've got the rake all hooked up here, and it looks like our truck is back from town already. And in addition to our truck being back from town, it looks like we're unloading down here with the potato harvester again, or getting ready to, so everything is just chugging right along here. Alright, well, I was hoping to use GPS, but we ran into just some issues with the ends of the field here, so I'm gonna go ahead and run this up manually for the headlands here. Get rid of these lines, and we'll give GPS another attempt here once we make it around the field once. Honestly, it's not that much raking to do here. It's only going to take us a few minutes to get through this field, so not too worried about it. Alright, I think I'm going to head right back down this way. We're going to do 2 headland passes on this field, and then we'll fall right back into whatever GPS track I'm going to be on right here and get things kind of lined up for the next pass. This way we know we've got things where we want them to be, and if we steal a little bit out of the windrow to our left, it won't be the biggest deal. But this should be lined up with the GPS track we were on the far side of this field, so we'll be good to go here shortly. We're at -8, which means we've only got 7 more passes to make here to knock this field out, so super quick we'll be ready to start tossing this alfalfa in the silo system and eventually make some TMR here. I have to say this 6410 does a pretty good job with some of these smaller grass work related activities. I'm definitely still loving this little tractor. I think we get a lot more jobs done around on the farm with it than I anticipated when I first started using it. I was kind of skeptical about having such a low horsepower tractor around, but this is really good, especially on a farm with animals and such here. It's working out pretty good. We've always got some odd jobs that need to get done. Potato truck's back again. He's just a machine. We've just got 2 passes here. It looks like I got into the wrong track when I turned around just now. That's okay. We'll clean it up here in a moment. And I'm kind of curious to see how well this grass actually yielded, this alfalfa. And so we'll be getting the forage harvester with the pickup head put on in just a few moments and start taking stock of that. I think we're going to do a single tractor setup instead of trying to have somebody follow us. I think we'll just hook the wagon directly up to the forage pickup. I don't think we're going to have really that much here that we have to worry about, so I think that's going to be the best way to tackle it, and we can just run it up to the silo on our own. I don't think getting more workers going on this series is really going to be that much more productive. I think we'll end up spending more time trying to track down issues with automation than if we just did the job ourselves. So that's cool. We're gonna jump on that. I'm kind of curious, actually, now that we're talking about it, to see how fast that forage pickup is. This says 12 miles an hour. Let me look at the head. This is a 9 mile an hour for the grass pickup, so I think we'll be going pretty good clip here. This is moving at 11 miles an hour right now, so we'll go slightly slower than this, but not by much. And we're on our last pass here down this grass field, so this is working out quite nicely. I'm super excited to see our cows actually get to a point where we have calves, and we're gonna start making some milk. Now, we did kill off a couple of our cows, so I'm still a little bit sad about that, but we'll get over it. And we are definitely looking forward to kind of seeing how this all works with seasons. It's been a long time since I did dairy in seasons, and so I know we have to wait till the cows are born to start making the milk, but I'm kind of curious just to see how productive that's going to be. Here we go. We've got the heads all switched up on this forage harvester, and I think our box is back here in the woods, and so we're going to go ahead and just get that hooked up here real quick. And I'm suddenly realizing we've got a whole nother field of alfalfa back here that we planted that'll probably be ready to harvest at some point before the end of the year. So maybe we should have hung on to some of that equipment after all. But it is what it is. We're going to go ahead and just get this guy set up and get ourselves some alfalfa hay in the bins, because I'm super curious to see how this feed system works on this map, because it's kind of unique. And it looks like our forage trailers are not accepting alfalfa windrow here for some reason. So we're gonna have to go take a look at that. So given that this is not working out of the gate here, this is gonna be a good spot to wrap up today's episode. And I'm gonna look at what's causing this alfalfa hay not to work with this forage harvester or forage wagon. And next episode, we may do just a couple minutes of showing off how to resolve issues like this in the episode, because this is pretty common. I've run into this problem on other maps with other equipment in the past, and it shouldn't be a big deal to fix. And so we're going to take a look at that between this episode and next episode. However, we've gotten just a ton of work done today. We've gotten a good chunk of our potatoes harvested here. If we look at the map, we're more than halfway done. We've gotten a good chunk of our potatoes moved from the storage here up into town. And we got all of this tedded and windrowed up, so we will be able to pick up all this hay and get it into our harvest store here next episode and start feeding our cows real food, which is super exciting. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's episode. That's all for today. Kedrick, out. We used to have a pickup truck here. Now we just have the bed of a pickup truck. That's, what the heck? Where did our truck go? Why is there just a truck bed here? Oh, game. It's down here. It's underneath the ground. Our pickup truck has fallen through the ground. There's always something around here.